Well, it's an exciting day for Northern State football today, starting at about 7:02 a.m., I believe, with our first letter of intent that came in this morning. Brady Johnson from Tri-Valley High School in South Dakota, and really he was one of 26 high school student athletes that signed a national letter of intent with us this morning. And National Signing Date is a culmination of a lot of work over a long period of time, the last year or several years, and particularly the last couple months. And excited to have a great class. Kudos to our coaching staff doing a great job getting on the road and identifying top prospects and getting them in for visits, and really going to our president, Dr. James Smith, who comes to a lot of our recruiting weekends and visits with all our families, Director of Athletics Josh Moon, Assistant Athletic Director Zach Flackus, our entire administration really at Northern State, and phenomenal academic support people we have on campus. I'm not going to start naming names because I'll forget somebody, but I will name Dr. John Mitchell because he comes to absolutely every one of these weekends in our biology department. So phenomenal there, and our players have done a great job, and really, like I said, our entire staff. So exciting day for us, exciting day for our program as we're coming off two of our best seasons in recent history with an 8-3 season in 2014 and a conference championship in 2015 winning the Northern Sun North Division. So exciting time, and our guys are excited about our class, and I'm just going to basically get right to it, talk about each member of our recruiting class, and our highlight video for our class will be posted on our website later on this evening. Start out with DJ Sam from Oconomowoc, Wisconsin, inside linebacker. Really shows a lot of athleticism, playing in a really good program in the state of Wisconsin. Makes a lot of plays, plays real physical, does a lot of things you want your inside linebackers to do, and has a size frame to really be a big guy that can moves around well and it runs well in open space, does good things in the box as well. Boston Bauer is a running back, wide receiver, returner from Sioux Falls O'Gorman High School. Parents, Sean and Lori, were both Northern State alums, played football and tennis here respectively. Sean is a dynamic playmaker, great change of direction. Had a shorter senior season because of an injury, but once he got going and playing, he really was a playmaker for O'Gorman as they made it to the championship game in South Dakota AAA. Jacob Bechter from Waverly South Shore, wide receiver. Jacob's a playmaker, a real natural hand catcher, runs extremely well too for a big guy, and multi-sport athlete, very good basketball player, and involved in several sports at Waverly South Shore. Did a lot of things well for his team over his career, and I think Jacob's going to be a great addition for us. Charles Chandler is a defensive back he's originally from Anchorage, Alaska, actually moved to Aurora, Colorado right before his senior year, went to Gateway High School, and was a defensive back, projecting Charles to be a safety in our defense. Really disruptive guy, makes a lot of plays on balls, has a knack for getting balls knocked out, and real disruptive in how he plays the game, physical style. Excited to have Charles. Thomas Chisholm is the defensive lineman from Chandler, Arizona, Chandler High School. Really one of the top programs in the entire state of Arizona. We've had a great run of Chandler High School guys here, and we're adding Thomas to that list. Big, physical, explosive guy, plays real powerful, plays real physical on the defensive line. Tremendous student as well. Kendall Coleman, a defensive back, also from Aurora Gateway High School. Again, making Charles Chandler's teammate, making plays on the ball. Real quick twitch guy that does some explosive things and is a playmaker and a tough guy that defends and tackles well as well. Colton Dragoset is from Stanley County High School, Fort Pierre. Is played quarterback in high school, and is probably the case with most high school programs. You're going to put your best player at quarterback or at running back, and that's what most coaches do. That's what I would do if I was a coach in high school, and he's but we project Colton to be a tight end at our level, big, rangy guy, again, multi-sport guy, very good basketball player. Did a lot of things well for Coach O'Boyle at Stanley County, and excited to have Colton on board as an athlete who we think can be a phenomenal player for us. Alex Fuel is from Murrieta Valley, California, offensive lineman, is a center, playing real physical, playing aggressive style, one of 8 offensive linemen that we signed this morning. And Coach Rakowski did a good job of identifying Alex and staying on him. Alex was in for a visit last week and committed yesterday, signed today. A very physical player and does a lot of things well. And big frame guy we think can add a lot of weight and be a real good center for us in the future. Antonio Frazier, defensive back from San Pedro High School in San Pedro, California. Again, Coach Rakowski, our defensive backs coach, did a great job identifying him and recruiting Antonio as a disruptive guy, really a physical player, does things well in space, gets into the tackle box and tackles guys well. Very explosive, very powerful guy. Going to have a chance to contend for playing time early in his career because of his explosiveness and the athleticism. Drew Gibbs from Soldotna, Alaska. Drew was actually the first guy that we offered in our 2016 recruiting class way back in June, and Drew is a projected to play linebacker, another guy that had his senior year cut short, and Drew was injured at first game of the year, unfortunately, and had a big game going there, but really a playmaker, a physical guy as a running back and also a linebacker as well, and that's what we're projecting Drew at as a linebacker, but certainly could fit the role as a running back if needed. He's just a phenomenal athlete, and really excited to have Drew on board after this journey. Desmond Graves is an offensive lineman from Miller High School, Miller, South Dakota. Big frame guy, 6'5", close to 300 pounds, athletic, and does a lot of things well. Just moved to Miller, actually, right before his senior year. Plays with an edge, plays physical, and really has that kind of that nastiness that you look for on offensive linemen, the way Desmond approaches the game. Mike Geidinger is an offensive lineman from Wabasha Kellogg High School in Minnesota. Mike is a multi-sport guy. He's a pitcher on the baseball team, playing basketball on their basketball team right now. So love the athleticism that Mike's got, and getting him into a college weight room, getting him bigger and stronger, getting him concentrating on one sport. We think he's going to be a very good offensive lineman, and really his athleticism, his great feet that he's got is pretty obvious when you watch him play. Chase Holbert is from Liberty High School in Peoria, Arizona. He's a linebacker. Chase was, I believe, the leading tackler in the state of Arizona. He did win the Pritchard Linebacker Award, given out to the top linebacker in the entire state of Arizona. And clearly you're dealing with a lot of good football players in a state that size. Chase aggressive, physical, gets in and around, blocks well, in and out of traffic very well. Really a top-notch kind of guy, and we're excited to have him. Really, you can see he's got just a bunch of leadership skills just when you meet and spend some time with Chase. Really got some natural instincts, some natural leadership skills that are going to carry over very well to our inside linebacker position. Excited to have Chase on board. Tanner Iwan, again, a linebacker from Scotland, South Dakota, is a same thing, multi-sport guy, one of the top wrestlers in the state at 182 pounds, played linebacker, played quarterback on his high school team. And again, if you look at our team, our roster, our linebackers and our defensive backs and receivers are really full of guys that played quarterback in high school. And again, we like Tanner's athleticism and seeing him be able to play a lot of different positions, linebacker positions in our defense. Brady Johnson, I mentioned Brady earlier from Tri-Valley High School. Brady's an offensive lineman, big-framed guy, 6'5", 270 pound. Another multi-sport guy, wrestling at heavyweight this year. His older brother, Thad, would be a senior on our team this year. Thad's career was cut short by injury. So real familiar with Brady and his family, phenomenal family, and really love the frame, love the upside of Brady when you look at the athleticism that he brings to the table and the size potential. Gerald Maxwell, running back from Brookings High School. Again, really a guy that we identified as our top running back on the board early in the process. The more we got to know Gerald and get to know him and his family during the recruiting process, really felt comfortable with him. He felt very comfortable here. Big 215-pound back that can run downhill and run past people, and powerful enough that he can run over people as well. And really catches the ball well, too. So really a complete back with his size and speed. And as a local guy, really excited to have Gerald on board. Mitch McCarty, wide receiver from Rochester Mayo High School in Rochester, Minnesota. Big 6'5", 6'6", 190-pound guy, big target, rangy guy, played quarterback when he was younger, moved to wide receiver as a senior. Again, just great size potential, great length that you need to have on the edge in your receiving game right now. And Mitch gives us that. Very good athlete, baseball player as well. And excited to have Mitch on board. Joe Morgan, offensive lineman from Pipestone, Minnesota, big frame, 6'6", 6'7", projecting Joe as an offensive tackle. Going to repeat the things I've said before. Multi-sport guy, playing basketball right now. I believe he plays tennis in the spring. Like that part of an offensive lineman because he's got good feet. You got to have good feet to play tennis. And Joe is a phenomenal athlete and great size potential. Was one of our first commits, and really excited to have him and get Joe in our weight room and having him working with Coach Fritz and our staff with his frame. Joe will be a phenomenal offensive lineman at the college level. Desmond Odoms is a defensive back and returner from Campo Verde High School in Gilbert, Arizona. Again, a dynamic playmaker, does a lot of things well out in space, breaks well on the ball. A tackles guy, not a real big guy, but he plays very physical, goes up and makes plays on the football, and then you get to see him in the return game doing a lot of real positive stuff, returning punts and kickoffs, and you see that. So phenomenal player and phenomenal talent that we're excited to get Desmond here again, thinking he's got a chance to play early in his career. Billy Olander from Cretin-Durham Hall High School in St. Paul, offensive lineman. Identified Billy a long time ago. He was at our camp and got to spend a lot of time working some camps with Billy. Billy's mom's actually from Aberdeen originally, playing for one of the best programs in the state of Minnesota. Really plays with an edge, plays nasty at the offensive line position, and did a lot of real good things at Cretin-Durham Hall. Excited to have Billy here in our program. Another offensive lineman, Mason Oltmans from Lenox High School, Lenox, South Dakota. Same thing, Mason was here in one of our first weekends and committed early in the process. Another big frame guy that's a multi-sport guy that we're excited to get here, get him into our weight room, getting him bigger and stronger and adding strength and weight to his frame, but a big frame. And comes from a good high school program, Northern State alum. Matthew Luzzi is the head coach there, and we think Mason's going to be a great fit here at Northern State. Andrew Schmidt is an offensive lineman from White Bear Lake, Minnesota. Is again, a powerful guy, playing for a good program in the state. We've actually got 3 players on our current team from White Bear Lake: Nick Truen, Cody Brager, and Jacob Olson. And so we're excited to add Andrew to it. Big, powerful guy that has got a strong base and really does some good things. Project him as a center or guard in our system. Tyson Sir is a linebacker, defensive end athlete from Burke High School in Burke, South Dakota. Again, a top-rated wrestler at his weight class at 195 pounds this winter. Again, another multi-sport guy from the state of South Dakota. Again, we think there's a lot of different spots that Tyson can play, like his versatility, like the things that he does as an athlete. Tyler Stenger is an outside linebacker from Imperial Windsor, Missouri. And actually, Tyler's a guy that has some connections, has family in the Groton area, and was a guy that we were in touch with throughout the course of the summer and came up for a game this fall. And real good fit in the area. Tyler played a lot of positions in high school, played quarterback, played receiver, played defensive back, linebacker. We're projecting Tyler as an outside linebacker in our scheme with his athleticism. Does a lot of things well. Hunter Troutman, a quarterback from St. Francis High School, St. Francis, Minnesota. 4-year starter at St. Francis, which is a good-sized high school in the state of Minnesota, good program. For the Northern State fans, he would be, Hunter was the high school teammate of current basketball player Jake Johnson, and threw a lot of jump balls to Jake. But Hunter's completion percentage was still good even after Jake graduated. So he's an athletic guy, does a lot of things well. Again, a 4-year starter at any position, but particularly at quarterback, tells you what kind of poison and intangibles Hunter's got. And again, same thing, a basketball player right now. And then finally, our last guy on the list, and our 10th and final signee from the state of South Dakota, Mitch Shackert is a kicker punter from Watertown High School. Mitch is a tremendous student, got a big leg. He was at our camp this summer, and we identified him then as a guy that we wanted to sign. We wanted to sign a kicker punter in this year's class, and Mitch is a guy that can boom it, and just like his athleticism, played other positions, a good-sized athletic guy who we think once he, again, gets into our strength and conditioning and improves his strength and flexibility, he's really going to have a chance to have a big-time leg. And we thought it was important to sign a kicker in this year's class with Nathan Shaw and with Jacob Wiedrich being in our team as well, but continuing to get depth and competition there. So that would probably be the best way to sum it up. As we look across the board, we we were able to, I guess the big emphasis probably is on the offensive line. And we said early on we want to sign a lot of offensive linemen. We ended up signing 8 offensive linemen this morning. We had 4 seniors graduate last year. We will have 5 seniors graduate this coming year on the offensive line position. So as those 9 guys move out of our program, a lot of good players in that group, we've got to continue to add depth and competition there. And then really throughout the rest of our class, fill in about where we wanted to, depending upon position, 1 to 2 guys, depending upon what we look for. Usually we're going to sign 4 to 6 linebackers. We were able to do that. Sign 4 defensive backs, 3 receivers, a running back, a tight end, and a couple defensive linemen. So really a well-balanced class, probably with the emphasis being on the offensive line. And best way to really sum up our class is really the quality as much as the quantity. Now we did end up signing 26 guys. Which that was pretty good. That was stretched a little bit further than I thought it would be. But as we look across the board, we're able to sign a lot of the top guys at a lot of positions. And when you do that, sometimes you don't sign as big a class because of your scholarship money gets stretched out. But again, our staff did a great job with that, really competing and recruiting to the end. And always trying to improve our depth, always trying to improve the competition within our team. And I thought we did that today. And again, we're excited about where we're headed. We're going to enjoy this day like everybody else is, and great to have these group of guys in our class. As I mentioned before, we've got over half of these guys received academic scholarships to Northern State. So really going to continue our trend as the top performing football team in the conference when it comes to academics. And we've been able to do that. We've been over a 3.0 grade point average for 6 consecutive semesters now, and just got a ton of real good students and good players in our system. So excited about this, and really think it's going to be fun as we keep turning the page and really look to the future of Northern State football, not only coming up this spring and fall, but then as years go on, adding